I'm currently working my way through all of the animated feature films on Amazon Prime, and I came across Easter Dance Party Like an Easter Chick. This was released in 2023. It's directed by Jim Ardent and written by Ryan Little. And I thought, okay, I'll check it out. It's almost Easter just now, so this seems like the perfect time. And on the poster for it, it said dance and sing along. So I thought it would have a bit of a sing along, and I love sing along animations, sing along films. I just think they're always great fun, depending on the song choice, of course. But I thought this could really appeal to me, and I have to say, it's pretty terrible. The sing along and the dance aspect are both appalling. The narrative is okay, and the animation is generally good. I do have one point of criticism for the animation, but in general, it's quite appealing to look at. This is set in a place called Sunnyvale, and all of the characters are getting ready to celebrate Easter, and they're also trying to find Hops the Easter Bunny, and it's a sweet little story. It works well enough. It flows from one point to the next, and we get new characters brought in at a pretty steady rate. As far as the narrative structure goes, I have no complaints. It's not too bad. The characters are all likable. We have so many different animals in this. I assumed it would all just be bunnies and chicks, but actually there's a lot going on, and it works very well. The colour palette is stunning. We have a lot of bright, bold colours. The character designs are great. The only issue there are two things that are wrong with the animation. One is regarding the dancing. I'll get to that in a moment. But the other thing is the movement of the mouths. It's just the movement of the mouths so obviously do not fit with what the characters are saying. And the only way this would ever be acceptable is if this was originally released in a different language and the mouth patterns were matching that original language, but I have no indication that that's the case. If anybody does know that, please feel free to let me know, and in that case I can say yes, fair enough. But it looks like it was created and released in English, and the movement of the mouths, it's not great. And then we have the movement of the dances, and we have the songs, and these are the bits where it really lets itself down. And considering it's being advertised as an Easter dance film, you'd think they'd do a better job with this. The songs, first of all, some of them are okay. Some of them barely have lyrics, so they're not really songs you can sing along to. But furthermore, there are no lyrics on screen. You can't advertise something as a sing-along if you don't put the lyrics on the screen for people to sing along to. Obviously, I could put the subtitles on, but that's not quite the same thing as actually having them as part of the film. So it's not really a sing-along. A lot of the songs are not really songs one would sing along to anyway. There are definitely some good songs, but in general, a lot of them don't have that many lyrics, or lyrics that are very clear and easy to follow, so it's not great for singing along. Then we have the dancing. And to begin with, I thought it looked bad, but then I realised there was no effort made at all. And the first reason for this is that the characters are all doing slightly different dances, and they're moving in very chaotic ways. So if a young child is watching this and they're trying to copy the dances, they're not going to know which character to look at, because they're all doing something slightly different and moving in different directions. And that makes it very hard for somebody to watch the characters and copy the dance moves, because there's no real consistency to it. So that was bad. And then we had Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, which I thought pretty excited by this. It's a very nostalgic song, takes me back to my childhood. Love Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. The characters were not doing the actions. They were not touching their heads or their shoulders or their knees or their toes or their eyes, ears, mouth or nose. They were just doing this weird side bop thing. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a dance they were doing in pretty much all of the songs. So I assume they've just replicated the same few sequences of movements over and over again. And for most of the songs, that's fine. I probably wouldn't have noticed that there was so much repetition in the movement. But when we got to Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, and they weren't doing the actions, I realised no effort was put in. And that is going to frustrate a lot of people. A lot of children are going to watch this and they want to dance along, but the characters are not doing the dance that they know. And everybody knows the dance to Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. You don't learn the song without learning the actions. So why include it in a sing-along and dance-along film if you're not going to do the actions? It's very lazy. Very, very lazy. I believe they could have done The animation itself is really great, and I think there's a lot of talent behind this, but they haven't made the effort to actually do the movements. Some of the characters do have quite short arms, so maybe touching their head might have been a bit difficult, but even just putting their arms up at the right time would have been better. There were ways they could have done this, ways they could have made it work, and they just didn't bother. And I think that's a shame, because this could have been really great. All they needed to do was synchronize the dancing, which probably would have been easier. I'm not an animator, so I could be wrong, but I imagine replicating the same moves for each character is easier than trying to make them all different. And then they could have done the right actions with head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and then they could have put the lyrics on screen. And I feel like they're really easy changes. If you've got the ability to do the rest of the film, and the rest of the film is very good, then those things should be very straightforward, and it would have made it a sing-along and dance-along film. Otherwise, it's just a film about Easter, which is great, but with some songs that are not always very good. Some of them are really good, some of them mediocre, some of them definitely not able to sing along to, and then dances that have no synchronicity. So it could have been really brilliant, and I think it could have really appealed to the target audience. But I can see it causing frustration, and I can see it being difficult to follow along to, and ultimately, I don't think they made the effort, because it could have been great, and they definitely have the talent. As I said, the animation quality is great. Visually, it does look quite beautiful. The narrative is very well written, and I give them praise for that. But the bits that make it unique, the dance along and sing along, not very good. Would I recommend it? Well, if like me and you like to watch every animated feature film, then sure, give it a go. It's obviously not terrible. But if you're looking for something to sing along to, or to dance along to, Easter Dance Party Like an Easter Chick is unfortunately not one that will work very well for that.